Over 40. It's going to drop some more.
It does, stay by a chair.
It's
Hurt head and then
322023 and cause number 328277 and cause number 328331. All three cases are styled the state of Texas versus Justin Rex Root. Mr. Root, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Root, you can look at the camera. Mr.
Yes,
Root,
sir.
you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Root, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Root?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, you are there present with your attorney, Mr. Antoine Freeman.
Correct.
Freeman, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Good.
Mr. Root, the first case, cause number 322023, is a motion to revoke probation. This motion alleged that on October 7th of 2020, you were convicted of the Class B misdemeanor offense of theft. And your punishment was assessed at 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail and a fine of $500 plus court costs, and that was probated for 1 year. On December 7th of 2020, the state filed a motion to revoke your probation, and in this motion, there is one allegation. That allegation alleges that you committed the offense of terroristic threat, family violence, on or about the 20th day of October of 2020 in Jefferson County, Texas, against the peace and dignity of the state in violation of condition 1 of your probation order. Mr. Root, to that allegation, how did you plead? True or not true?
True.
Now, are you pleading true to freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because it's true?
Yes, sir. Because it's true.
Mr. Root, I have before me what is marked as State's Exhibit number 1. And State's Exhibit number 1 on page 2 of this on page 2 of this document, there are a set of initials on a line that's marked MTRP, which stands for motion to revoke probation, and say true to allegation 1. Are these your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the title to trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, there's a signature above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the second box states that you are waiving, which means that you are giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct?
Yes, sir.
Knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Root. Well, State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Freeman, you've advised and counseled Mr. Root in this case. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Root, your attorney, Mr. Freeman, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Root, I will accept your plea of true to allegation 1, I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, and I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your probation. Your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The state is offering 50 days jail time, credit for time served, taxing and retiring court costs.
Fifty days. Okay, Mr. Root, the state is
Yes.
offering that you serve 50 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you've already served 50 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. You
Yes,
won't have any more time in jail on this case.
yes, sir.
If you owe any court costs, you will not have to pay the court costs either because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, your court costs will be taxed and retired.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. And Mr. Root, we have two other cases. Your next case is clause number 328277. And in this case, Mr. Root, the information alleges that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of burglary of a vehicle, which occurred on or about June 26th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas. Mr. Root, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Root, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest?
No
Now, are
contest.
you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, I have before me what is marked as State's Exhibit number 1 on page 2 of this document. There are a set of initials on the line that's titled "Nola Contendere," which means no contest. And are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this document, above the line that says defendant, there's a signature that purports to be your signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled "The Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal," there is a signature at the bottom of the line, at the bottom above the line that says defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Drew, out there before you should be a document that is titled Discovery Certification. And did you sign that document?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Drew, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor, and the state will also like to offer State's Exhibit 2, the probable cause affidavit.
Any objections?
No objection to either, Your Honor.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibit number 1 and 2 will be admitted. Mr. Freeman, you advised and counsel Mr. Root in this case as well. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial in this case?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Root, your attorney, Mr. Freeman, has advised and counseled you in this case. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Root, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The state is offering 180 days probated over 18 months, an $800 fine plus court costs, and 80 hours of community service. This is to run concurrently with 328331.
Mr. Root, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you're not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because your sentence will be probated for a period of, this is a, because you're, okay, let me repeat that. The state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you don't have to serve any time in jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for 18 months. During the 18-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $800 plus court costs. And the court costs, the fine and court costs equals $1,142. You'll also be required to pay probation fees of $60 and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and the probation fee is $60 each month. And you'll have to reimburse the county for the attorney's fees of $250, and it comes to a total of monthly installments of $160 per month. Mr. Lee, would you be able to pay the $160 per month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Lee? You'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. And will also, this case will also run concurrent with cause number 238331. And you will also have to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Mr.
Yes.
Root, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Root, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Okay, Mr. Root, we have another case. Well, just hold on a minute. Okay. We're back on the record in cause number 328331. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Justin Rex Root. And the information in this case, alleges that on or about October 20 to 2021, Mr. Root committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of terroristic threat, family violence. Mr. Root, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Root, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Your Honor, it should be no contest. That's what we put on the paperwork.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't. Mr. Root, are you pleading no contest?
No contest. Yes, sir.
Okay, now, Mr. Root, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, I have before me what is marked as State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. Mr. Root, on this document, in this document, on page 2, there are certain initials that purports to be your initials on the line that says nola contendere, which means no contest. Are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Prior to, and also, Mr. Root, I have another document here that is titled the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. And it says defendant has a signature that purports to be your signature. Is that your signature?
Oh, yes, sir.
And on this document, there are 2 boxes to check. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have the right of appeal. Do you understand that? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
You should have a document before you that is titled the discovery certification. Did you find that document on line 2 above the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1?
Yes, Your Honor, and the state would also like to offer State's Exhibit Number 2, the probable cause affidavit.
Without objection to either, Your Honor.
Okay, no objection. State's Exhibits Number 1 and 2 will be admitted. Mr. Freeman, in this case, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Root, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Root, your attorney, Mr. Freeman has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Root, I will accept your plea of no contest. You are mentally competent. Also find that you feel no contest and waive the freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that agreement?
The state is offering 180 days probated over 18 months, no fine, no community service. The state is requiring anger management and AANA.
Let's put that in the judgment.
Antoine, they'll give him papers filled out already when he gets released.
Okay, Mr. Root, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 18 months.
Yes, sir.
Probationary period, you will not be required to pay a fine in this case. However, you will be required to pay court costs of $342. You will not be required to pay any probation fees, and you'll pay a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and attorney's fees of $50. And this comes to a total of monthly installments of $40 per month. Mr. Root, would you be able to pay the $40 a month?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Root, in this case, you would not be required to perform any community service. You'll be required to pay a violence center fee in Jefferson County of $100. And this case will run concurrent with cause number 328277. And you will also be required to attend and complete the anger management and the Alcohol Anonymous and narcotics.
Yes, sir.
And also, you would also have to adhere to the standard terms and conditions of probation. Mr. Root, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Root, I'll follow the bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Root, before you leave, in accordance with Texas Administrative Code Section 176.1, the court hereby admonishes you of the following. Number one, you are entering of order or judgment ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Number
Yes,
two,
sir.
beginning now, if you possess a firearm or ammunition, it could lead to charges against you. If you have questions about how long you will be ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, you should consult an attorney. Number three, under Texas Penal Code, Section 46.01, Section 3, A, firearm means any device designed, made, or adapted to expel a projectile through a barrel by using the energy generated by an explosion or burning substance, or any device readily convertible to that use. B, firearm does not include a firearm that may have as an integral part a folding knife blade or other characteristics of weapons made illegal by Penal Code Chapter 46, and that is one, an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, or two, a replica of an antique or curio firearm manufactured before 1899, but only if the replica does not use rimfire or centerfire ammunition.
Yes, sir.
Listed below are a starting point for ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. For more information about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or for more information on how long your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition lasts, the court recommends you contact an attorney. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 17.292, Magistrate's Order for Emergency Protection. Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 42.0131, Notice for persons convicted of misdemeanors involving family violence. Penal Code Section 46.02, Unlawful carrying weapons. Penal Code Section 46.04, Unlawful possession of firearm. Penal Code Section 25.07, violation of certain court orders or conditions of bond in a family violence, child abuse or neglect, sexual assault or abuse, indecent assault, stalking, or trafficking case. Code Section 85.026, warning of protective order. Mr. Root, you'll be given a copy of this admonishment by the bailiff. Mr. Root, please follow the bailiff and have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Ms. Root?
Hey, Peppo,
Yes, sir.
make sure that he signed the pad for probation. There's a pad that he has to sign for the probation.
Okay, I don't know where that's at, Judge.